So here is a short story my uncle shared with me 2 years ago. These were not his exact words, but I will relay the story the best way that I can. So there are two friends who live in a rural community, one named Desmond and the other Nelly. They grew up okay, but then as they became young men, they both had dreams. So Nelly went up to the city to chase his dreams. Desmond, on the other hand, stayed back in the village and became a fisherman. He was doing okay, taking care of his family and whatnot. So years passed, and then Nelly came visiting. And in visiting, they scheduled out the time for themselves so that they can catch up. And as they are talking, Nelly moves to tell Desmond that he's so proud of what he has achieved with himself and his family. But is he okay with the life he's living? Like, isn't there more that he thinks he can get out of life, especially with his fishing business? Mind you, at this time, he's just selling in the rural communities and taking the proceeds to take care of himself, his wife, and his children. Nelly says, well, this fishing, if it was in the city, you would have done more than what you're doing here. And then Desmond, being interested, was like, okay, go on, I'm all ears. And then Nelly said, well, you could have a fish farm, and not just in one place. You could have a franchise. You could even have people that you train. You could be a mentor to a lot of people, and you could charge for this mentoring. And Desmond was really interested, and he was like, okay, go on. He said, well, you would make a lot of money. You'd go into so much partnerships, like teach about this in schools, in universities and whatnot. And then this one was like, okay, go on. And then Nelly says, well, you would have a lot of money, like a lot. You'd be able to take care of yourself, take care of your family the way you want to. And then Desmond was like, okay. And at the end of the conversation, Desmond was like, so I have to do all of this just to get the life that I already have now. And Nelly, being confused, was like, what do you mean? So he then says, well, if the reason why I have to do all of this is to take care of my family, well, I have already achieved that. And to be honest, I do not really want more. Now, in the eyes of many, people would say Desmond became complacent. Like, how can he be comfortable with that kind of life? Like, with all the things that he can do and achieve, why would he choose this to that? Most people think that contentment is about settling for less, but that is not true. Complacency is something that most people push, like, don't be complacent, do the next big thing, you can be this, you can be that, why are you settling? Like, there's a lot of that in this world right now. I feel like contentment is not something that is pushed enough. That's why you see people striving, and when they get here, they just want the next big thing. They're not even sitting to appreciate where they've gotten to. Based off of the story I shared, I'm going to share some lessons I learned about being content. Number one is that life is filled with sacrifices. Whatever decision you are taking today, there are consequences. We want so many things in life, but we have to prioritize them to know which one is most important and which one is less important. From the story, I believe that this one had big dreams. I mean, don't we all? I believe that at some point he must have thought of expanding the fish business. However, I also think of maybe his biggest priority was to be a present husband and a present father. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think of my personal life, and there are so many things that are important to me, and I believe that this applies to so many people out there. However, there are some things that are more important than the other. You have to give in one thing for the other. So life is all about sacrificing what is least important for what is most important. Number two, we are all wired differently. Life, I believe, is truly beautiful because of our differences, our accent, our beliefs, our cultures. But the only problem I have when it comes to this subject of difference is when one person thinks that, okay, this is my perspective, and because this is my perspective, this is the right perspective. Five perspectives can be right at the same time. We have so many Nellies in today's world, and this could be our friends, our parents, our teachers, and it's beautiful because from the story, I do not think that Nelly was coming from an angle of why you did relax now. I think he was coming from an angle of this my friend could be so much more, he could do so much more with this, you understand? And that's great for them if that's how they're wired and that's how they're thinking. But we also need to understand that there are some people that do not want that life. There are people with extremely big dreams, and they are like heavy chasers. They chase those dreams with everything in them. But there are some that just want to live okay and comfortable lives, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just want a simple life. The kind of person I am, I'm not drawn to big things. I have always been this way. When people talk about luxury and this and that's like it's never been me, to be honest. But I know people that want this, and I love it for them. There are certain things you gift me now that I swear to you that I will sell it because I don't need it. I wouldn't care for it. Like it will be of so much value to you giving it to me, but to me it's like it's of no use, you know. Third thing I learned from that story was gratitude. Is how Nelly mentioned so many things, but the words that Desmond picked were you'd have enough money to take care of yourself and your family. Because I think that was what meant something to Desmond. Most of us are fixated on things that we feel will make us happy. But happiness is now as simple as it sounds, that's the truth. Because no guarantee for tomorrow, my brothers and sisters. The world has become so fast-paced that we barely reflect on our yesterdays in comparison to our todays. There was a time where some of the things I wanted, I have now. And getting here and not being conscious of the fact that I did it in this area or in this regard is like spitting on God's face. From time to time, we have to learn to sit back and reflect and just be appreciative and grateful to God that we are not where we were yesterday. Check it well. You will see that you've come a long way. Maybe not at the pace you wanted, but there is a progressive movement going on. All of us are just looking to live a long and happy life, regardless of what you are chasing. We are all chasing something that we feel will make us happy, and we all want to live long. That's the whole bobo to go about life. In achieving a long and happy life, like I used to think a lot of things in this regard. I just started reading this book, and I'm not even 200 pages in, and I have come to realize that we do not need so much to achieve that. I guess that most people would only embrace this reality much later in life after all the struggle. Like 5, you have the power of choice. If after Nelly had said all those things to Desmond and Desmond, I'm sure he was even fired up, because if someone had said that to me, I would be fired up. It all boils down to choices. When you listen to all the information you get online, when you listen to your family, when you listen to your friends, the last person you come back to is yourself and your thoughts. And you need to listen to yourself properly, because most times than not, we are always telling ourselves the truths. We know the truths, but our stubbornness would let us do otherwise. Also need to know that whether it's contentment, whether it's complacency, they all have their consequences. I think most people in these generations are go-getters, maybe at different paces, but when we set our minds to things, there's a high percent chance that we go for it and we get it. But most people lack contentment. They do not know when they should be content. And this is something that we should all strive for in our lives as we progress. I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I just want to share it. And it's 1 Timothy 6:7. For we brought nothing into this world, and we take nothing out of it. Do with that information whatever you may. For more content on living frugally and authentically, subscribe.